Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Renee and I work in a middle school library. It has been 4 months since I uploaded last. I thought I'd give a little update. Towards the end of the school year is always very busy. We've got trips we go on, collecting books back. I chaperone a lot of the trips. So I really haven't uploaded anything for a while. And now today is July 23rd. And I had a rough start to my summer. At the end of the school year, I was not feeling well and we discovered some medical stuff with me and we're working on it. I will be meeting a specialist in about a month to discuss what needs to happen, things I need to look out for. If anybody wants details of that, I can talk about that in another video. But I am sorry I have been absent. I really do want to start being more consistent with videos. I don't think there's a lot of middle grade content out there, and I would like to help with that. So today's video is going to be introducing 4 books from a list of Battle of the Books books. So if you've watched any of my videos in the past, I am a coach for Battle of the Books. And last year, we discovered a whole new program that does Battle of the Books. So now we participate in 2 Battle of the Books competitions. One is done through our school district, and then another one is a state level. And the district one, we actually go in person and compete against other schools. The state level one is all done online. So every team throughout the state will go and answer questions on a Google form. And depending on your score, there will be a winner declared, or there will have to be a tiebreaker, which you actually answer questions for a tiebreaker right after you're done filling out the Google form for the regular competition. So the statewide Battle of the Books, they release the book list at the end of May, the beginning of June. So you know the list through summer, and you can try to get recruit students, and they can read books throughout the summer. And that battle takes place at the end of February. The other battle, the one that's in our district, they release the book list a little bit after the start of school, and then that battle takes place in the beginning of May. So I am going to introduce you to the first 4 of 20 books that are part of the statewide Battle of the Books. And that is called WEMTA, W-E-M-T-A. It stands for Wisconsin Educational Media and Technology Association. So both battles, the district and the state, have 20 books on each of their lists. So I am going to introduce 4. They're not in any specific order. They're just 4 books that I happen to grab to read first. And so the first book is called Among the Hidden by Margaret Peterson Haddix. Now this cover doesn't do it justice at all. It looks musty, crusty, and let's weed that out of our library, right? And I have, actually. But I really wish they would re-release this with a better cover, and maybe they have, because I really enjoyed it. So this book, I'm bad with summing up books myself, so I'm just going to read the little synopsis on the back of each of these books. So I'm sorry if that's not your thing. It's just what works best for me. Okay. Shadow Children. Luke has never been to school. He's never had a birthday party or gone to a friend's house for an overnight. In fact, Luke has never had a friend. Luke is one of the shadow children, a third child forbidden by the population police. He's lived his entire life in hiding, and now, with a new housing development replacing the woods next to his family's farm, he is no longer even allowed to go outside. Then, one day, Luke sees a girl's face in the window of the house where he knows 2 other children already live. Finally, he's met a shadow child just like himself. Jen is willing to risk everything to come out of the shadows. Does Luke dare to become involved in her dangerous plan? Can he afford not to? This book was good. I will try to, once I read the books, I will come on and give a little review of what I thought, just like a quick reel. But this book was really good. And I read a book by her last year for Battle of the Books, and I really enjoyed that one too. It was called Running Out of Time. And I really need to try more of her books, even though they look musty, crusty, and old. So that is the first book on my list out of 20 is Among the Hidden by Margaret Peterson Haddix. The next book on my list to read out of the 20 is called Will's Race for Home by Jewel Parker Rhodes. Rhodes, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. This book, it says, how far would you go to find home? It's 1889, barely 25 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, and a young black family is tired of working as sharecroppers on land they don't get to own. So when Will and his father hear about an upcoming land rush, they set out on a journey from Texas to Oklahoma, racing thousands of others to the place where land is free, if they can get to it fast enough. But the journey isn't easy. The terrain is rough, the bandits are brutal, and every interaction carries a heavy undercurrent of danger. Best-selling and award-winning author Jewel Parker Rhodes goes west in this thrilling adventure story about a father and son who set out to find a new home during the Oklahoma land rush, if they can survive the journey. I have not read this book yet, and I actually bought it at a local bookstore. We don't have it in our library, and we don't have it in the public library that is in the town that I live in. So I thought I'd just buy it and use it for the other students to read. And then if it's worth it, I will put it in our school library. So that is the second book that I will be reading is Will's Race for Home by Jewel Parker Rhodes. The third book on my list for today is called Not If You Break Up With Me First by G.F. Miller. So I was a little surprised to see a romance book, middle grade romance book on the list. I haven't read what it's about. Maybe it's not a romance. Maybe it's more about friendship. So it says, childhood friends Eve and Andrew are destined to be together. Everyone says so, especially their friends and classmates who are all suddenly crush obsessed. So when their first 8th grade school dance rolls around and Eve, feeling the pressure, awkwardly asks Andrew to go with her. Everyone assumes they are officially dating and practically in love. Overwhelmed, Eve and Andrew just go along with it. And it's awkward. Neither of them wants this dating thing to mess up their friendship, and they don't really see each other that way. But they also don't want to be the one to call things off, the one to make things super awkward. So they both separately pledge to be the worst boyfriend-girlfriend ever, leaving it to the other person to break up with them. It would be genius if the other person weren't trying to do the exact same thing. This actually sounds like the movie 10 Things I Hate, no, not 10 Things I Hate About You. How to Break Up with a Guy in 10 Days, where she is a journalist and she dates this guy and does all the things wrong to try to get him to break up with her. This is the middle grade version of that movie. So it is a romance slash friendship, I guess, a relationship book for middle grade. And I have never read anything by this author. I am very excited to try it. We happen to own it in our library. So the third book on my list is Not If You Break Up With Me First by G.F. Miller. The last book on my first 4 of 20 books is called Let Me Play, the story of Title IX, the law that changed the future of girls in America by Karen Blumenthal. So it is a nonfiction book, and we happen to own this in our library. We had just got this. Imagine a time when people believed girls shouldn't play sports. Imagine if the greatest athletes of all time, Simone Biles and Serena Williams, were told they couldn't compete. Imagine if girls were told that math and science courses were too difficult for them, that college was a waste of time, that they should leave them to the men. Nowadays, this may be hard to imagine, but it was only 50 years ago that all this was true until a bill called Title IX came along. In 1972, after the tireless efforts of hundreds of determined lawmakers, teachers, parents, and athletes, Congress passed the law that forever changed the lives of American girls. A law that has reached far beyond girls in sports, and that dedicated advocates continue to protect and enforce to this day. Now, millions of girls play sports. Young women make up half of the country's medical and law students. LGBT students' rights are protected. Women have a place on the national stage, winning gold medals and world championships, developing life-changing vaccines, holding court as Supreme Court justices, and leading the country as vice president. All because of Title IX and the people who believed that girls could do anything and were willing to fight to prove it. So, nonfiction book, there are pictures of people in here that are part of the history of females. So this will be fun to read, and I'm hoping I will learn something I have never heard of before, and I hope that the students that will read this can get something out of it as well. So the fourth book on my first group of 4 is called Let Me Play, the story of Title IX, the law that changed the future of girls in America by Karen Blumenthal. All right, so that sums up the first video of the 20 books that will be for the WEMTA Battle of the Books. And I promise I will upload more. I will do a little Reels recording of when I finish the books and let you know what I thought. Please excuse me because I am not very good with putting my words together on reading a book and my thoughts about it afterwards. I kind of like blank on how to explain it, and I don't want to spoil anything. And again, I hope your summer is going well, and I'm hoping to enjoy the remainder of my summer since it started off kind of rough. And I hope everybody is excited to return to school, those that are teachers, and I'm ready to go back, I guess. I will be going out to visit my son and his girlfriend that just moved to Colorado. So my daughter and I are going to road trip out there. It's going to be a process because I'm going to have to stop every hour and a half for the medical situation I have going on. But it'll be the last exciting thing of summer, because then when we get back, a couple of days later, I go back to work. No students, but I will have to go back to work and do meetings and get the library ready. So I'm excited. This year is going to be a change. Our schedule has changed. I have some classes scheduled coming in that aren't coming in for book checkout and reading. There will be some extra classes coming in. So I'm excited to see where that goes. And I hope you all are doing well. And thank you for watching. And I hope you are enjoying some books. Please leave some books that you've just finished that you've loved down in the comments. And I will see you in the next video. Keep reading, everybody. Bye.